Hello there, YouTube. It's your boy, Saint Riot, coming at you once again with another Let's Talk About Elden Ring PvP. Saint Riot? More like Saint Right. More like Saint Correct. More like Right Riot. Invasions have been confirmed for Elden Ring, but I won't waste time saying I told you so. Instead, I'll just say good. And we'll look at a Miyazaki interview in a little bit, but before we do that, I wanted to have a little conversation with you guys and gals about Dark Souls PvP in general, and Dark Souls 3 PvP, and things that maybe you wish would change that maybe don't need to be changed. Things that should probably stay the way that they have been for a minute now. Things that maybe you think Dark Souls 3 PvP is fun in spite of, when actually Dark Souls 3 PvP is fun because of. There is some hard-hitting truth, some hard truth in this conversation. What you're seeing is me playing Dark Souls 1 PvP, and I chose Dark Souls 1 PvP because I know a lot of people don't like it at all. They don't understand it. They think it's broken. They think it's a janky mess. They think that it's not good. And I would like to inform you that a lot of people feel that way about all Dark Souls PvP. The people I'm playing with are really good at this game. They're really good at it. And they're just having some fun with me. They know I'm not that good, but you know, it's a good time. We can still have a good time, right? And they're willing to have a good time. Are you likely to find this if you're not streaming the game for hundreds of people? Probably not. You're probably going to find the same thing most regular folks find, which is people who maybe aren't very good at the game, but they understand the mechanics of it well enough, and they understand the OP builds well enough that they can roll up and just absolutely delete you. End of story, GG. Right? Dark Souls 3 gave every possible advantage it could to the host. And honestly, that's still not enough, if you can believe it. Now, I know people who really like Dark Souls 3 PvP, based PvP enjoyers. And they get really mad at the 20 men who live inside of their computer that use and abuse every advantage that they have in Dark Souls 3 PvP, and they make the game not like, and when I say this word, when I say competitive, I just mean that you don't really have a lot of a chance, because they know every advantage that they have as a host. They use every advantage that they have as a host. They abuse every advantage that they have as a host. I know that there are people out there who do that, and I know that it can be frustrating to fight against those people. However, it's literally like 20, maybe like 200, real talk. Maybe there's like 200 people who play the game that way, and that number is not worth considering. It is not worth rebalancing the entire game around 200 people abusing the hell out of the mechanics that From Software chose to give hosts as an advantage, because that's what ensures people play the game online. If you don't believe me, look at the Steam numbers. See how many people are online playing Dark Souls 3 versus Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2. If you don't, you can grab yourself some anecdotal evidence. If you've got a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 5, boot up all of these games and see which one gives you the most invasions. See which one people are actually willing to try and play the online. Now, are you going to die to, a bunch of straight sword blenders when you play Dark Souls 3? You might be the better player. and you still die to 3 or 4 mindless automaton just mashing R1 with a straight sword. You lose to that, and it's frustrating, and I understand it's frustrating. But the flip side of that coin is, you got to play the game. There were people to play with online. They were willing to give it a shot. They were willing to give it a go. A thing that happens when you become a based invasion enjoyer is you start thinking about ways to balance the game. But you can't see the forest for the trees. You start thinking of how the game should be balanced for invaders. But that's not, again, we are a very small percentage of people who actually play this game. We are not the majority. We are not the end-all be-all of who's playing this game. And that's important to remember. One thing I see a lot of people talk about is friendly fire for phantoms and hosts for the gank squad. What if the gank squad had friendly fire? That is a bad idea. Here's what you should do, okay? You should think about how you would implement friendly fire. I want you to think about it. Close your eyes, in your head, think about how you're going to implement friendly fire in Dark Souls 3 or Elden Ring. Now, I want you in your head to picture how it's playing out. And now, I want you to imagine the song that Fighter PL uses, that I'm the bomb. Whoa. I want you to imagine that song. I want you to imagine that song playing, and I want you to see, does your friendly fire mechanic allow someone to make a montage of them absolutely gating a boss? Does your friendly fire mechanic make some clueless noob completely unable to beat a section of the game? And if the answer is yes, your friendly fire idea is bad. Now, in conclusion, the reason there are so many people willing, and there's still a bunch that want to disconnect, but the reason there are at least people willing to try Dark Souls 3 PvP is because the host has all the advantages. The host should have all the advantages. Let's check out this interview. It's from a Russian website. It's an interview with Mr. Miyazaki, and they talk about the online. It says, in Dark Souls, you get this translation that you're seeing here is like directly from my Chrome browser. Okay, so like this is not like a good translation. All right, just gonna have to deal with it. In Dark Souls, you could summon other players and NPCs to help you fight bosses, and then cooperation will work right in the open world. And Miyazaki replies, the summoning of phantoms will not be available everywhere, but everything will not be limited to some bosses. You can explore the open world together. There will also be offline assistance, the spirits of enemies you've defeated. Again, they are not available in all locations, but this is another element of character customization. You can choose allies like magic spells or items. They become part of your build. Will there be any other restrictions? For example, earlier assistance disappeared after defeating bosses, and calling a partner did not allow the player to leave their location. Elden Ring uses a system of signs familiar from Dark Souls, so the scheme is roughly the same. Defeat the boss and disperse. Really, we would call this not a limitation, but rather a way to let the player relax. A good point after which you can let players return to their business so that they do not annoy each other. Translation gets a little rough here, but I think what Mr. Miyazaki is trying to say with, well, when we already disperse, this is kind of a bad translation. But I think what it's going for is, well, what do we do now? And Miyazaki's saying after you defeat a boss, you don't have to worry about that because the game just, kicks you back to your own world. That's why they chose to go that route. Otherwise, we aim to reduce stress in multiplayer and make sure that players who want to play together have as few obstacles as possible, so they can participate in the network game whenever they want. First, we have reduced the amount of resources required for multiplayer. Previously, players needed humanity or other rare items, which repelled the audience. Now, we want to achieve the maximum accessibility, give players as much freedom as possible in this regard. Secondly, since the world of Elden Ring is huge, it can be difficult to find summoning signs. To do this, we have highlighted special locations where players can leave their signs or see who is currently available. And so that battles do not turn into endless hide and seek, we are adding interface elements that provide enough information to both participants in the confrontation. So you're saying there will be PvP in Elden Ring? Miyazaki brightens up noticeably. Yes, there will be invasions, and let's say optional PvP. Throughout development, we tried very hard to make the aspect of the game less annoying for both players as possible. We're still working on it. What about covenants? In this sense, Elden Ring is similar to Demon's Souls. The conditions for participation in multiplayer are minimum. You just need to leave a sign. The game has a bit of covenant twist, but the multiplayer tied ones just add some flavor to the multiplayer. They add their own characteristics like role-playing. They will not become mandatory requirement. So there's no dark wraiths you have to join in order to use the Red Eye Orb, like Dark Souls 1 had. There's no covenant that does, there's no covenant that does your co-op. You can co-op from any covenant, things like this. Let's not read too much into this roughly translated Russian web page, Google Chrome. Let's not read too much into that. We'll get more information. But there you go, invasions are in. Also, please consider that the host having all the advantages in Dark Souls 3 is actually a good thing, because it means people will actually play the game. And if no one's playing the game, it doesn't matter what the mechanics are, because you'll never see them. So, thanks for watching my video, thanks for hanging out, like and subscribe, and send me a pizza, send me some candy, send me money, throw a couple bucks my way. Hey homie, can I hold a $5? And I'll see y'all next time. Until then, later y'all.